Hi, it's Ray Mills from Excel and VBA Craftsman. Today I want to talk to you about my auto backup file. So the auto backup file is set so that if you have some files that you absolutely can't lose, and you'd be amazed. Well, I think most people know that Excel is important, but you'd be amazed at how many businesses really require or really place a lot of dependency on spreadsheets to run everything. And I've audited, I've done consulting for some of these people that have used spreadsheets and they were absolutely integral to the business, right? And they can't afford to have anything to happen to them. Well, as a developer, I can't put hours of code into something and then have it go away. If there's a glitch or whatever, I need to make sure that that's backed up. And this is how I do it. Okay, let's talk about how easy it is. So it's a Excel add-in. So all you do is you go to Excel, you say options, you go to add-ins, and then you pick the add-in and you add it. Right? In this case, it's the backup tool, and it will add a menu item, backup tool. So you click on this, and that opens this up. And this one has I've added 6 different files to backup. You can do up to 10. If you need more, you have to shoot me a note. Okay. Here's the name of the file. Let's look at this first one, right? And if you click on this, one of the things I do is make sure that this is filled out. So this is filled out with everything that you selected when you chose this file to back it up. And the reason I do that is because sometimes you'll have really long directories, and I want to get them in a place where you can see them better, right? So here they're kind of abbreviated and made small because it keeps the file down to a reasonable size, right? So here's the file I want to back up. It's actually backing up the backup tool. That's the file. That's where I can expect to find it. So when you select it here, it'll fill out these first 2. Then I want to pick a place where I want it backed up to. D happens to be an external drive that I have purchased, right? So I have a little plug-in external drive. It's actually a terabyte, and I back it up to there. And my thinking is that the chances that the D drive, which is what it is, and the C failing at the same time are pretty remote, right? So we can actually, and I think I can pretty much safely rely on it. But in the best of all worlds, you'd want to back up to maybe a LAN drive, a different LAN drive. I like backing up to D because I don't have to ask anybody to restore it. I can just restore it in 2 seconds and I'm up and cooking. Now, I should say that everything is saved as a zip file, which I just popped into my head and I forgot to mention that. So just to reduce size, right? So here's the file. That's what it's saved to. This is the backup directory. This is interval between saves, 30 minutes. This is the number of versions that will be saved. Now, why do I keep versions? Versions are important because if you are building some code and suddenly it's not working, you may want to shift to a prior version to take a look and see what you've changed that inadvertently changed that's blowing up the code, right? So, or if someone else made a change to the file, you may want to restore back to where you were, right? So a lot of possibilities there on why you might need that backup and versioning. So if you hover here, you'll see this has 5 files, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is what's been backed up over. In fact, we backed up 2 today already. So you just simply, it's pretty easy to do, right? You pick all these, make your choices, you hit schedule, and it will add a line, right? That may be a little annoying, but it only comes on when you cover here. You see how? So, and I did that so that you could see everything that you need to know and what's been backed up, where your files are. Okay, straightforward enough. So it's very simple to use. Other than that, you can stop the tool from running. Oh, I should show you this before I do that. Right now, you'll see that right now it's 3:04 here, and in 10 minutes, it's scheduled to do a sweep. It does a sweep every 15 minutes to look to see, hey, if any of these things due to be backed up, because if they are, it'll back them up. I happen to like 30 minutes, but you could do an hour, whatever makes you comfortable, right? I give you choices, right? Here you go. And if you wanted to edit one of these, you just highlight it, and you could change it. So I could make this, oops, what's going on here? Oh, it's backing up right now, I'm sorry. I could make this 45 minutes, right? And then I say schedule to save it. And now that will back up every 45 minutes, so I could change this to 4. Again, schedule to save it, and then that will back up. It'll say 4. So that's how easy it is. And to add, you just go through and answer the questions, and then hit schedule, and it will add a line, right? What else? And that's pretty much it. But it is a pretty neat tool. Now, it still runs if your screensaver pops up. Mine runs, and we can, you just test it, make sure you keep an eye on it when you install it that it's doing what you want it to do. Be very careful. It's your files. This thing is very carefully built, but it's up to you to test it to make sure it's doing what you want it to do. Okay. Now you did see that yellow box, but I'll do it again. So, F11, let's see if I can pop it up. Okay. I'm going to force a backup right now just by running the code. And that's what the box will come up. And this is running through and it's doing a backup right now. Well, some may not change because I do have a couple forced to change, but you won't have that when you're using the tool, right? So I forced it to change the file so that it would back up. So I'm testing it. But what it does is it says, okay, if the file's open and you have an unsaved changes, it saves the file. Then it does a backup of the file. If the file's not open and it hasn't changed, as long as you have at least one backup, it will not create another backup. If you do not have another backup, if you do not have a backup, it will create one, right? So the first backup it automatically does, even if there aren't any changes. So you always have a backup, and then it builds from there. It'll go up to 4, 7, whatever you have set as the maximum, and you see them here, right? You see the files here, and you'll see that it saves them as zip files to save space. So it's a nice tool. If you install it, one day you may say, I love that guy because he saved my life, because I have 5 hours in this tool and it's blown up. I have 5 hours in this spreadsheet that I'm building and it's blown up. So this is a pretty neat thing to run, okay? And I offer it free on my website, and you'll see where at the bottom of the write-up for this YouTube video. Thank you.